From a career on FIFA to making music videos to now stepping in the ring, KSI's boxing career definitely has a lot of unanswered questions. One of them being, is he really a pro boxer? In this video, we'll be seeing what real boxers think. KSI's boxing career definitely didn't go the traditional route. From claims of rigged bouts to some weird endings to fights, many question if he can be considered a pro boxer. KSI has a net worth of over $25 million and has had a very diverse career. From YouTube to music, he doesn't really need to box. He's obviously doing it for fun, or maybe he has something to prove. He can officially be called a pro boxer, even though he's only had 2 amateur fights and they weren't against, let's say, top competition. They were other YouTubers too, and many of the pros doubt that can even be considered real boxing. To make matters worse, his pro fights have mainly been against YouTubers, and he's even done 2 fights in one night, which many see as unprofessional. To top it all off, his last fight ended very suspiciously. He landed an elbow on his opponent and knocked him out cold. I know you're thinking, wait, wasn't it a boxing match? It was, so it's a very strange end to a fight for sure. Joe Rogan also questions how serious KSI's boxing career is. When asked about his thoughts on KSI's bout with Logan Paul, Joe Rogan wasn't impressed. He thought it was quite funny, actually. What Joe Rogan found even funnier is that the card was headlined by legendary boxer Billy Joe Saunders. Joe Rogan thinks that KSI and his YouTube friends are only really in it for the money and fame. He also goes on to say, dude, they're 2 YouTubers fighting. There's no art. KSI, on the other hand, entirely disagrees. He believes because of the competition he's against, he deserves the right to be seen as a serious boxer. Where he first thought YouTubers, he's now fighting legit boxers. His last opponent, Joe Fournier, who KSI KO'd with an elbow, can definitely be considered a pro boxer. Right now, it's down to the Professional Boxing Association to decide who's really the winner. But before this fight, Joe Fournier was undefeated and managed to knock out all 9 of his 10 opponents. He also fought well-known ex-heavyweight boxer David Haye in an exhibition match. It's fair to say he's fighting proper competition. Anthony Joshua seems to agree. When asked what he thought about KSI's boxing career, he actually said he respected it. Joshua also said, "I'm not saying he's the next Floyd Mayweather, but let's give the man a chance to be great, whether it's music boxing or acting. He's trying to find his greatness, and I'm supporting him on that quest." Another big name in boxing is Tyson Fury. And although there's no chance of him ever fighting KSI, his younger brother Tommy Fury definitely might. Tommy Fury recently beat one of KSI's longtime YouTube rivals, Jake Paul. When asked what Tyson thinks of KSI, he said that he isn't a fan of all that YouTube stuff, but he does think it's good for the sport. But he also thinks that Jake Paul knocks KSI out cold. KSI was not happy about that. He vowed to prove everybody wrong. Although, in the past, KSI said he only wants to fight once more, against Logan Paul before he calls it a day. It seems like he may have changed his mind. He's now fighting real boxers, not just YouTubers. He's also just started his own boxing organization, Misfits Boxing. It sounds like he's not done with the world of boxing yet. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury seem to like the idea of YouTube boxing, but it doesn't look like they're taking it too seriously. Neither is famous boxing promoter Eddie Hearn. Hearn's known for promoting and organizing huge boxing events, including some of Anthony Joshua's biggest fights. When asked whether or not he thought KSI versus Tommy Fury was a good idea, he didn't seem impressed at all. He said a fight between them would be entertaining, but that's about it. He said, "It's still a huge fight with those 2, and it would be competitive. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but neither of them are very good." It's seeming the general consensus here is that while YouTubers boxing may be entertaining, none of the pros seem to take it very seriously. Despite no real pros thinking it'll go very far, KSI rates his chances. He's even gone as far as to compare himself to Deontay Wilder. Wilder's known to be the hardest punching heavyweight of our generation and has fought the best multiple times. After KSI made quick work of rapper Swarms and a professional boxer on the same night, it looks like the victory went to his head, just a little. He said, "These guys think they can mess with me, but once they feel the power, it's dangerous, bro. I'm moving like Deontay Wilder in these streets, man. It's scary, and no one wants it." Take that as you wish, but I think we've got to point out that Deontay Wilder has knocked out 41 opponents and almost took out Tyson Fury, who most consider to be the best, whereas KSI is only 2-0 in his pro fights. I think we can all agree there's a slight difference. Another problem celebrities and fans alike have with YouTube boxing is that it's unfair for them to be getting so much more attention. Not only that, but higher pay too, than boxers who have spent years in the game. With people like Salt Papi and KSI headlining events, people are starting to question its legitimacy as pro boxing. The quality of the boxers and fights themselves have had people wondering if this can even be considered in the same light as professional boxing. Others find it disrespectful that YouTubers like KSI are paid more per few fights than actual world champions such as Josh Taylor has earned their entire career. They see a dystopian future where boxing has been taken over by influencers, only in it for the money and fame. Others just see it as satire, and that's something only the younger generation are really into. They think people will eventually get bored of YouTube boxing and move on to the next biggest trend. Some fans, however, question whether or not it's the fault of boxing itself for making YouTube boxing so popular. In recent years, the popularity of boxing has declined. Sports like MMA with the UFC are becoming more popular, and many question why. In the last 10 years, the biggest fight in boxing by far has been McGregor versus Mayweather. Although both professional combat sports athletes, many compared the spectacle to what you see nowadays with YouTube fights. Some say this even paved the way for it. Two big names trash-talking each other from completely different sporting backgrounds able to headline boxing events may have set the precedent for what we've got now. People like KSI may have just seen a golden opportunity to make a lot of money. And can you really blame them if the biggest fight in boxing in recent years has been McGregor versus Mayweather? Then that means boxing itself is just not as popular as it used to be. If you compare the numbers to most championship fights these days to their YouTube counterparts, there's a drastic difference. YouTube boxing is proving way more popular, and KSI is the frontrunner for it. You still have big fights with the likes of Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, and Tyson Fury, but the amount of big stars in boxing has undeniably decreased these days. When all's said and done, it looks like the real boxers don't really have a problem with KSI trying to become a pro boxer. They just think it's fun and games and the latest internet trend. KSI disagrees with this completely and vows to prove the doubters wrong. Only time will tell if he ever will, but for the time being, YouTube boxing is here to stay, and KSI is leading the charge. If you're a boxing fan, let us know what you think. Can KSI's career really be considered pro boxing? Is it unfair for YouTubers to be taking the spotlight from real athletes? Is it just the latest trend, and will KSI eventually go back to YouTube? Be sure to share your thoughts.